Where do we start with that? My goodness me. Norwich City 1, Bristol Rovers 1, FA Cup third round. Bristol Rovers take it to a replay. And look, for the first time in quite a few years, I don't know what came over me. I was up for the cup. I fancied an exciting day at Carrow Road. Maybe a few goals, hopefully a convincing performance. I must have been, I mean, I'm doing dry January. I must have been on something to convince myself that game was worth going to. It was sadly yet another dismal display in the latest failing in this David Wagner era. And that was probably one of the most grim of the season. It was a truly passive, unintentional performance from that Norwich City side. And it is glaringly obvious for every single person to see that this man needs to be sacked immediately. And look, I don't take any pride in saying that. I don't like seeing people lose jobs. I really like David Wagner as a person, but as a head coach of Norwich City Football Club, this simply is not working, and it hasn't worked for a very long time. And I think Norwich fans have actually been incredibly patient. Basically a sellout today if you take into consideration the upper tiers were not available to sit in. And once again, served up complete and utter dross. It was a good opportunity for Norwich today to progress and put in a good performance. Look, Bristol Rovers, to their credit, I thought were well drilled and actually the better team in this game, and probably will look back on it as one that they should have won. They hit the crossbar. There's a couple of good saves actually from Long. Certainly tested the goalkeeper more than we did. And they will be happy with their performance and will probably fancy their chances in the return fixture. But there were plenty of kind of, kids there today and people that probably don't go to league games. And it was an opportunity to grab them and get them excited about this football club. And I think for the majority, they will be looking at their parents, wondering why they put themselves through it, asking, can we please watch Man City on the TV instead of going to Carrow Road and freezing to death watching a truly, shocking performance. And it's really concerning, this. I laugh because if I don't, I'll cry. But and equally, I'm at the point of apathy now, because we've spoken about this for so long here on TNC. And look, we're not in the minority. I think everybody I talk to is of the same opinion that, we know that David Wagner being sacked isn't the golden bullet and won't change everything, but at least it will show some form of willingness to change and move in the right direction. And I also understand that there are financial implications and it's not as easy as just sacking someone and finding someone else. But if you're not being spoken to and you're not being communicated with and you're not hearing anything other than insults towards this fan base, then what else do you have to go off? And I'm looking at Ben Napper, and I'm looking at this man who came in for Stuart Webber, and Stuart had left with his the opinion from Norwich fans towards Stuart was fairly poor towards the end, and Ben Napper came in sooner than expected, and there was the handover period didn't really exist. And he was, we thought, going to come in and maybe hit the ground running with some decision making. And actually, we've seen absolutely nothing. We've not heard anything from him. We've not seen any action. And I'm sure, he's working very hard day to day. And look, this is a long-term build for Ben Napper. I do understand that. And I'm sure he's up to good stuff day in, day out. But if, the perception... And I think as football fans, often that's all you have to go off. The perception doesn't look good. The perception is one of, there's no real, doesn't seem any urgency to change this. And it's not as if, even if he would have come in and sacked David Wagner on day one, that wouldn't have been that would have been a decision that he would have been weighing up for a long time. He hasn't just walked into Norwich City not knowing what's going on. If you've watched this Norwich team for any more than a couple of games in a row, you will know that the playing style is poor. You will know that there is so much more to get out of these players. And that comes back to the head coach. And I'm now looking at Ben Napper and going, there's two options here. Option one is the current situation, and that to me signals the complete write-off of this season. Or option 2 is you're still within touching distance of the playoffs. You sack the head coach, you find an interim manager until the end of this season, and then you have the summer to find your long-term replacement. At least with option 2, you have the opportunity of showing us loyal fans that there is a willingness to make change. Option 1 is an incredibly dangerous move. That is a path I'm not sure I want to go down as a Norwich City fan. That is the path of giving up on this season, finishing mid-table, in the summer selling your best assets, the likes of Josh Sargent, Gabriel Sara, Jonathan Rowe, Angus Gunn, the list goes on. They are players that will not want to be staying around a mid-table championship team. We're also in a financial position where we won't be able to turn down significant bids for those players. And those bids will come for those players. So then you're rebuilding without your best talent, seemingly no real young talent coming through because there's a lack of willingness from David Wagner to play those young players. And an ageing squad still on high wages that you can't shift, because why would player X on £25,000 a week on a 3-year contract want to leave? They won't. They won't be, picked up by another club on that kind of salary. So not only are you giving up on this season, you are giving up on the next few, because this isn't a quick fix. And I'm not saying that the sacking of David Wagner will propel us into the playoffs and Premier League football next season, but at least it shows a willingness and a self-awareness that this isn't heading in the right direction. The argument from many when Ben Napper was brought in, an unproven man at this job description, he's never been a sporting director before, he's very young, was, okay, so this chap is, can be controlled by those above him and will be making the decisions that those around him will want him to make. And on current evidence, those skeptics are proven absolutely right. Now, I'm not saying that this, Ben Napper is incapable of leading this football club forwards. I see a man who has real potential and a decent CV and the minerals to make good decisions. But at the moment, that's not being the case. And that's worrying. And if I'm the Atanasio group, I'm looking at things and going, oh, okay, we've got a fan base here who are quickly turning off. We've got season ticket renewals coming up. We've got a January transfer window where the man in charge we don't want to lead going forwards. So this cycle is difficult. And this cycle is going to be tough to snap out of. I just watched that performance today and it was so utterly uninspiring. And unfortunately, 95% of the games this season have been. There have been a couple of games where you've gone, actually, like, for moments in that we were quite impressive. But to be frank, today it was shameful. It was absolutely shameful. It was just tactically inept. The players didn't look like they had any kind of excitement for this, and that comes from from the top down. David Wagner saying in his pre-match press conference, it may have been slightly missed in translation, but it's not the first time that this has happened, that, if it goes to a replay, then you take it. That's not the kind of language or attitude to have against a team in the league below. And as I say, Bristol Rovers probably should have won that game today. Looked more exciting going forwards. Defensively, actually, set up pretty well. Norwich couldn't break Bristol Rovers down. It was a midfield that looked like they lacked quality. I thought the only player that had a relatively bright game was that of Onel Hernandez. He got the assist. He should have had a couple more if Adamida got on the end of some really good opportunities. And this is deeply concerning. Do I expect David Wagner to be sacked? No. Should he be sacked? Yes. How many times have I said that this season? And if I'm the vast majority of Norwich fans, I'm looking at this season ticket renewal, one of the most expensive tickets in the division, and I'm going, if they've given up, then so am I. What is the point of me going? I see absolutely no future with this board and this vision, and why should I put the effort in if they're not? I cannot blame you if you have that mindset. I wish I could tell you something to get you excited about. And maybe that will come with some, American investment. But, sat here at 10-7 on the 6th of January, I've got nothing to give you in terms of optimism. And that's really sad, because I want to be fighting in the corner of optimism for Norwich City. I have done for so many years. I want to be, shouting off the rooftops about how good and well run this football club is. But at the moment, I can't. All I'm seeing is a passive approach, a set of majority shareholders in Delia Smith and Michael Wynne Jones that say, only 20% of the fans are unhappy with this, and we have no idea what's going on. Well, if you believe that, then the reason we have no idea what's going on is because you don't talk to us. And when valid questions are asked from respectable journalists, we are laughed at. They are laughed at. No wonder, you don't think we have an idea, because you don't talk to us. It's really, really concerning. I was left, speechless at the complete lack of inspiration from what I saw today. And the next few championship fixtures look tough on paper. David Wagner has to go. We have to see real decisions, tough decisions made by Ben Napper. Otherwise, the sceptics will continue to grow. And we cannot be in a position where not only is there doubt around our head coach, but there's also doubt around our sporting director. Let's see action. Let's see change. Thanks very much for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.